right. We're on. Hopefully you're around. Just going to still have to get everything. I still have to get used to things. Please let me know if you can hear me properly. I hope. Yeah, hi. Good morning, Charles Latorra. I hope you can see me and hear me. What can I say? Yeah, I'm using the camcorder. Oh, good morning, Zoe. Yeah, I'm using the camcorder and the microphone. So hopefully this time I actually can use the camcorder and the microphone as well. Excellent. Thanks, Charles. So anyways, I'll go through what we're going to talk about in this session and then I guess get right to it, really. Hold on here. And yet again, for new viewers, basically what the show is just I guess me trying to, interact with you guys, learning about World War I with obviously there's going to be a heavy bent towards Der Weltkrieg, but also, I mean, other World War I gaming as well. I mean, I'm not, going to do that as well. I mean, we're even, one thing I do want to also compile later on, I think it was a little bit of it when Charles Latorra was mentioning about what other games are available, that deal with East Africa and whatnot. And that, kind of got the ball rolling during the week. And I was thinking, oh, maybe we can go through BGG or whatever and find out, like, just write down the list of, all the World War I games that are currently in, that you can currently buy, from publishers and whatnot. There are 2 games out that just recently came out. So I'll start with that. I don't know, kind of like in a weird way, maybe like this is like a current events thing for World War I, if you want to call it that. So I'll show you the links. I'm going to, like I said, I'm still a bit clunky with all, trying to navigate with all the different windows and whatnot, but hopefully things will start to work. Oh, good morning, Meandering Mike. Great to see you. Like I said, I'll, I don't know if you want to call it that. It's going to be kind of like a current events thing. So it'll be 2 things. I'm going to show you two games that recently came out, and I also want to go and take a quick peek at the World War the National World War I Museum and Memorial in Kansas City. They've got a really interesting exhibit coming up on the 23rd of February, which coincidentally is I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right up my alley with the Whiz Bangs and Woodbines book there about how they were entertaining the troops behind doing all that stuff behind the lines and whatnot. So and it's about that which you're about to see. So that's coming up. There's also a few exhibits that are about to close. So you better, if you're around there, you better move your butt and get over there. And you're lucky. That's all I got to say. I know what I'd be doing if I lived in Kansas City. I can tell you that much. Okay, so hold on here. I'm going to present. Yeah, I got to pop on the other window here first. Hold on. I can get rid of this window, I think. Yeah, so tell me how you guys are, what you've been up to this, what you are going to get up to this weekend. That'd be kind of nice to hear. There we go. I've got the exhibits, and then I'm going to Alt-Tab over to the other StreamYard. There we go. Now I can present. Yeah, you see other people in their other live streams, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they're so good. They've got it right down. Okay, so Microsoft Edge tab, and then I pick this one, and boink, and then I can view the tab on the StreamYard, so that way I can see what the heck you guys see. So tell me if it looks all right and all that stuff. Who's the author on that Whiz Bangs and Woodbines book, Meandering Mike? It is, and there's the other thing I'm starting to learn, Meandering Mike, is when I was watching my past the live stream from last week, is I have to start actually saying what people are commenting on the text, because lots of times I was watching and I'm like I'm replying to something, but I mean, if somebody was just, not reading the text or whatever, or the comments, which I wasn't doing when I was watching, you wouldn't know, I wouldn't, like, in what context. It's Reverend J.C.V. Durrell. And I got it through the museum, the National World War I Museum and Memorial. So you guys hopefully can see that website, I hope. anyways, that's the one that's ending pretty darn soon. The captured one, that looks really interesting. Well, they all do. I mean, come on. But this is the one that's coming up, the Entertaining the Troops. And that's why I was like, oh my gosh, this is, connecting so much with the book. Oh, sorry. I'll put it on full screen so you can see it full on. There we go. Yeah. So that's what's going on. And you can see there's a number of online exhibits that are available for anyone to try. Oh, great. Thank you, Zoe. So, I mean, right now, you guys can go just, well, hopefully not right now, but you can go later to the World War I Museum and Memorial website, which I think I have available as a link. And as you can see, there's a number of online exhibits that you can just take your time looking at. And I would love to do this, actually, part of it on my first year birthday, as part of just to go. Oh, I'm grabbing the wrong web thing there. There we go. So I can see there, and look at that one. That looks really interesting. I've actually gone in this one here, the poster, the visual persuasion, and yet again, it led me off onto the National Archives and all this amazing free material that you can get. It's just incredible. So I'm just going to take a quickie peek, just a quickie one here. And then we'll go off onto the other stuff here. What am I doing wrong here? So there we go. That looks pretty darn interesting to me. Anyways, okay. So what else? I want to show you the 2 games that have come out recently. This one, I'll show you this one. Hopefully you guys can see that. So that one came out maybe 3 weeks ago or something like that. And that's from Conflict Simulations Limited, and that's their third installment in the 1914 The World Undone series. This one's about Serbia, and as you can see later on here, they're planning on, I guess, doing a deluxe edition of popping these all in, and the West Front. So you've got that. That's available. It seems like it's on sale. I don't know if, for how long. And then I'll show you this one. And this one just came out 2 weeks ago, maybe. And this has been, so this is Aces of Valor, solitaire game, World War I air combat. And look, Zilla Blitz already has an Aces of Valor unboxing on YouTube. So you can go and take a look at his stuff. All right, let me go back to my stream-a-majigga-bob here so I can, there. All right, so we're back to this. And I can, just let me take a look at my notes quickly so I can figure out what in the world I'm supposed to be talking about. So we've done I've shown you the current events. Yeah, like I said, a lot of this is, yes. I am waiting for my copy. Are they shipping yet? As far as I know, Meandering Mike, they are. The newsletter, 3 weeks ago, said they were going to start shipping in 2 weeks. So fingers crossed. I hope so. What can I say? Oh yeah, these are things that I've found out about, I guess, during the week, doing this week-to-week thing. And yet again, it's a lot of it is stuff that I just not going to have enough time to find out about, but they just really piqued my interest. Actually, quite a bit of it, a few of the things were the very beginning of the Whiz Bangs and Woodbines book, where he describes the travel across the channel on the ships. And it was all this stuff I just had no idea before. Yes, I've heard of that, Meandering Mike, that there's been people waiting ridiculously long. They almost, I don't know the specific, whatever, but it's almost like they make GMT look, amazingly quick on their P500 kind of thing. Yeah, so, the day I see that appear at my house, a copy of The World Undone 1914 Serbia, I will be extremely happy. I can tell you that much. Oh my gosh, that's going to be nice. Well, yeah, let's hope. At the word, oh, I can't do that. That's illegal. But I do have the digital copies, so we could always, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, or whatever they say. I had no idea about this, guys. That airships used to drop depth charges. I had no clue about that, and I didn't know that dazzle camouflage was used as much as it seems to have been. I thought it was just like maybe an extremely uncommon form of camouflage, but it seems to have been used quite often. That's just blew me away. I'm not very good at my French pronunciation, but supposedly one of the mottos, if you were on a channel ship during the war, it was "Je suis, j'y reste," which I guess would be "I'm here, I stay." Essentially, I guess because the decks were just so flippin' overcrowded that you just felt like a sardine. I guess I just found that interesting. Also, this other position, I guess it's logistics oriented or something. I guess it was another one of those nudge, nudge, wink, wink people that will, if you befriended them, maybe could get you an extra packet of tobacco or something. Was called the Assistant Military Forwarding Officer. So whatever that person is, and I so want to make a T-shirt now, make my own T-shirt of ROD, the Railway Ordnance Department. That sounds really cool. So it's another thing I would love to try my little T-shirt crafting on. What else? I don't think. Let's see what I found for the 1914. It wasn't a heck of a lot that I found all that interested, I guess, relating to. Well, yet again, I mean, well, here we go. So February 17th, 1914. This is yet again from Wikipedia. I know I haven't put down my sources yet. I'm going to. Like I said, I've got 11 days off now in a row. So on February 17th, 1914. Oh my gosh, I haven't even started the trivia. The Sopwith, and it's an easy one today, guys. Massively easy, ridiculous. Like it's so easy. I'm having a hard time even thinking about what to give you as a hint or whatever. It's like it's so easy. It's ridiculous. Like I'm like, how can I say that one? Like everybody will just go, well, but I'm trying to be a little tricky. Well, so we'll see if it works. Anyways, on February 17th, 1914, the Sopwith Sociable airplane was given its first test flight in Telford, England. And on the 18th, yet again with this, I guess, Mexican Civil War or whatever, Pancho Villa insured his life for $500,000. Holy smokes. As a favor of his wife ahead of his plans to lay siege to Torreon or something. So it was weird at the time when I was reading that. I was thinking, God, in a strange way, if you had taken Pancho Villa and maybe brought him here now in present day, he would probably be a bloody drug lord or something crazy. I don't know, but it just sounds like to me when I heard, $500,000 back then for his, his insurance. I mean, yeah. Anyways, so let's get to the map. Hopefully this will work. I'll try the little thingamabobs, and yet again I'm going to try not to use my notes. I hope to God that works. One of the big things I did find out this week that's starting in the machinery is, well, there's also a lot of things I found out that I need to find out a lot more about. I think I was mentioning before, well, there was two things. One I'm very happy about, that I didn't just go with what I read. I think this was 2 weeks ago when I was mentioning that there was going to be a raid. Over here, a raid by the British in Alexandretta, which is, I'll look it up here. When I looked at it, I was like, there's no way the British could get up there and do some kind of amphibious raid. So I mentioned it to you guys, I think 2 weeks ago, but I didn't put it on the map because I said, I think I got the geography wrong, or I got the name wrong. But when I started reading up, which is partially about Gallipoli, because this is, I guess you could say, maybe in this week, February 12th to February 18th. This is the first real action towards Gallipoli. I think the ship was called the Queen Elizabeth, and it went towards the straits and tried to, I guess, bombard the Ottoman positions along in the straits, like from a long distance or whatever. I think, and that was the first, and that I think started things in motion of, from what I've been reading, like I don't know much is what I'm trying to say. I still need to learn a lot more. But from what I've been reading, here, I'll try to zoom it in and we can go from there. Yeah, I'll try. So, let's see what you can see. Now, from what I've been reading, let's see if we can. There. Yeah, I'm going to try not to even have to move the camera. There. So, come on, you little brat. There we go. Jesus. All right. So, from what I've been reading, originally with the Gallipoli thing, hopefully you can see all. Well, of course I can look on the screen. So, over here, I think you can see. Yeah, good. Maybe a little bit more. I can do even more then. Hold on. Yeah, welcome to live stream. I guess that's the way to look at it. So, yeah. But see what I mean? Why I'm really happy now I can start using the camcorder. So in this area, I know that, I think I was mentioning that a while back, this is Salonika. And a few weeks ago, I think I mentioned, I hope you remember that the British, well, the Entente, but it was primarily the British, they asked the Greeks, the Greek government, hey, by the way, can we use Salonika as a port so we can help out the Serbians and whatnot? And the Greeks, remember, everything I'm saying, guys, I could be wrong about. I'm trying here. But what I'm saying is, learn or find out for yourself. Don't use me as gospel. How's that? A bit better, I hope. You can still see? No, a little too much. Hold on. So, there, how's that? So originally they wanted to go to Salonika. The Greek government said no. Also, I think they wanted, that's where I was saying when I didn't believe them. And that's way the heck over there. Well, I'll bring it towards I'll zip over the camera. So originally the British government wanted to attack this spot. You can almost see it, darn it. As far as I know, that was the original plan, was to go over here and try to cut the big and sever the Ottomans. Can you see that? Yes. To sever the Ottomans in half, kind of thing. There's like some wicked rail lines around here, and that's that Alexandretta, the Iskandarium or something. That didn't pan out. That was called off, I think, because there wasn't enough troops committed by the French and whatnot, and the British said, well, we're not going to do that as well. We're not going to, I guess, shoulder more of the blame, more of the, do more of the heavy lifting or whatever. So that didn't go. So that was, I think, and also after, there wasn't a huge response with the Turks or the Ottomans with that weird bombardment over here. I'll try to move it over again. Sorry. Churchill, I guess, asked the head honcho there or whatever, the military guy, the British guy around there, said, do you think there's a possibility that, based on what you've seen, you could actually, we wouldn't actually even have to land any troops. We can just go straight on through. And he was like, yeah, oh, for sure, we can do it. So they didn't bring any troops from the Western Front. So everybody was happy there. And they were still looking around, I guess, for some support troops. And that's where the Anzacs got popped in, from what I know. Oh, hello, Wardrobe Plays World War II. And hello, Math Fun and Games. Sorry, I'm not looking at the comments very often. So, hold on, I got sidetracked here again. So, yeah, they were looking for some support troops, and I guess the nearest ones available were the Anzac troops training. I repeat, training in Egypt. and they were sent over. Well, they'll eventually be sent over here. And this island here, Lemnos, is going to be the main port or whatever, the main place that the Entente are going to use to do their base of operations in this area. So there's tons of stuff I need to learn in this area. And like I think I was mentioning last week, there's a weird backstory going on with Greece. With Sophia, I guess the king's, I don't know who the ruler, like how their structure was, if they had a king back then or whatever. But I mean, her brother was the Kaiser, for Christ's sake. So you know what I mean. And so you got this weird, which way are you guys going? I just would like to find out more about it. It's got to be some more literature. Oh, and Charles Latorre, I'll show you the link later. I just ordered a book to hopefully help us out, find out more about what's going on in Africa. So yeah, like I said, the main spotlight I did want to talk about of what was going on, in the week that was back in 1915 is certainly the Second Battle of the Masurian Lakes. And it just blows me away to think that it started on the 7th of February, So it was still going on all this week, while I've been going to work, worrying about doing a live stream, this, that, and the other thing, watching other people's stuff. And these people are like fighting it out in the middle of the winter, in a snowstorm and so on and so forth. It just blows me away. So I'll try to quickly go through the other stuff, and then we can get to the second. Oh yeah, I haven't even started the trivia question. Okay, I'll do that first. And holy Lord, lifting, man, 20 minutes in, and I haven't even got into the filming. Like, what's going on here? Yeah. Oh my gosh, hi Ken X or Ken 10. You know what, Ken? You are a lucky bugger that you've got. Think about that. You could be like Gen X, Ken X, or Ken 10. Like, well done. Hello, William Marins. Nice to see you. All right. What the heck was I going to be talking about? I got sidetracked again. Yeah, come on, guys. You got to help me out here. Oh, yeah. I'll go around the little bits before we go to the Second Battle of the Masurian Lakes. And tell me if you can. I'll try not to. It's hard. Like I said, I'm learning. And I didn't find much of what was going on in Africa again. The other thing I do want to mention about the Gallipoli thing, I think also partially from what I've been reading, I think the Russians were also saying, hey, guys, not to be rude here, but we're fighting the Ottomans up in the Caucasus, way the hell up over here. We're fighting the Ottomans over here. We're fighting the Austrians over here. We're fighting the Germans over here. Do you mind helping us out a little bit, somehow? And I think so. They were like, okay, maybe if we can, as well as you got to remember that that raid by the Ottomans here on the Suez Canal. And this is another. This is the British, I think, fighting back this week. Yet again, there's more stuff I have to learn. That scared the dickens out of the British because, that was going to cut off, obviously, access to a lot of stuff. And no matter what happened this way with a failed attempt with, the raid on the Ottomans, from what I've been reading, the British had to send tons of troops here. They committed tons of troops here for the remainder of the war in this spot. So it worked, like maybe those divisions somewhere, like we were saying last week, that could have helped swing the balance somewhere else, whatever. There was and yet again, it blew me away to find out this week. Oh my God. And I'll tell you one thing, the Great War Channel, I've mentioned this before, Indy Nidell's Great War Channel, amazing stuff. Yes, I'm going to start the trivia. I just keep getting sidetracked, Ken. It's crazy. So his episode for this week, for 1915, he's a little off with my dates or whatever. You can hear the passion in his voice. He really did a good episode. So I hope I'll try to pop it in the link somewhere, that specific episode. It's week, I can't remember what week it's called, but he's really, you just hear it. Like he just gets right into the narrative of the Second Battle of the Masurian Lakes when he starts talking about the 20th Corps stuck in Augusto forest. see if I can pronounce his name right. Pavel Bugakov. He's this guy I think I was showing you in one of my streams. He's the leader of the Russian 20th Corps that gets trapped in the Augusto forest. Maybe I'll try to show it to you on a map over there. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Sorry, man, I jump around on all over the place. I'm trying. I did the only game that I know of that's specific to the second battle of the Masurian Lakes is Masuria by Decision Games. I'll pop that on later. So if you wanted to play that, I haven't played that. I've played their game Tannenberg, which is a modified fire and movement system, which I've mentioned before. I think actually plays better as World War I system than it does their World War II. So I don't know what was going on with that. Their command, it's really good. So maybe if it's the same, it's the same system. I just don't know what the victory conditions and the constraints are and whatnot that they've put on you. So what else? Yeah. So what was going to say about the Carpathians? I didn't realize that how broad of a front it is. So this week in 1915, the Austrians actually retook Czernowitz. I was like, what? Because I always thought, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. I really thought so. I'm going to have to learn yet again more about that area. I'll see if I can zoom. Hope you can see a bit more. But so there was, remember, it was all initially, they're coordinating. There's, with the Germans trying to also draw forces away, the Russian forces away from here because, you can find out later on with the, can you even see any of that? Yes, you can. Nope, you're sitting in the wrong spot. Hold on. I'll try to zoom out and see what you guys can see. Hold on. So, hold on. Come on, you. Yeah, this is all going to be a big lead up for later on with the Gorlitz-Tarnów breakthrough. And just to say, it's probably the last time I'm going to be calling it that, unless I'm doing a Weltkrieg specific for that scenario. Reason being, I'm going to start calling it the Great Retreat. Because I think it's a bit more relevant. It had a lot of it's less focus, I think, on the German perspective by calling it the Great Retreat, and it had a lot more of an impact on a lot of people. There's a lot of suffering. I'm not going to get into all that stuff or whatever, but there were a lot of groups of people that suffered as the Russians retreated. Anyways, it had a profound impact on what was going to happen, later on. So yeah, I'm going to start calling it the Great Retreat rather than the Gorlitz-Tarnów breakthrough from now on. And like I said, unless we're talking about the scenario that comes in the Eastern Front module. So yeah, I didn't realize it was that. That's where Czernowitz is, for Christ's sakes. I'll pop it on. Hold on, sorry. A little bit more, but initially, remember, this is just trying to relieve the poor over 100,000 troops that are stuck in Przemyśl, for goodness sakes. Which I find a weird irony is that, so you've got Borejewicz going towards Przemyśl, and they're also pushing towards Lemberg here, but I was shocked to find out that they took Czernowitz. I was like, what? So I didn't know. I was only assuming they were over towards this spot. But when it's starting to sputter out now, the Austrians are not able to, it seems, keep that momentum going. Good God, it's also mountains in February. Their casualties are going to be as much or more than, you can't do it that way, I guess, but it's just, I just found that really weird. That, as they're going to eventually, I guess the writing is on the wall now. They know that the people in Przemyśl are going to be stuck. That's it. Like they're going to be under siege and continue on. Can you kind of see that? I'll bring it up a little bit. We'll just talk about the Western Front very quickly, which you can't even see over there. It's the same stuff. The Champagne, same stuff. The Champagne offensives continuing on. There seems to have been, yet again, I have to learn a lot more. There seems to have been awful lot of action going on down towards this area. Chutes and ladders. I can't remember the name of it. The Loche Valley or something like that. And then there's Verdun. There was some stuff there. The Noroi or something, a Noroi. I'll have to go and look that up again. And yet again, now that when I put the 80% scale map up on the wall and we leave it here week in, week out, I can start putting in the actual fronts so we can start seeing it actually move. And it's not so I can, we'll be able to just go, okay, that's there, and everywhere. And we can actually start seeing the ebb and flow of stuff that's going on. I think that would be nice. So I'll do a quickie, relatively quickie, because I want to get to the videos and stuff, and also talk about map 6.4, the Italian map, because I pre-recorded that. Where's my thumb there? Kind of somewhere there. Okay, I'll pop on over here. So yet again, this was from what I've been reading. It was a huge thing to try to rid East Prussia of all Russian. Can you see that? No, almost. I'll zoom out a little. Come on, you little brat. So, yeah, I hope you guys are talking amongst yourselves, because obviously I'm not even checking the comments. Goodness gracious. All right, let's see there. I'm going to zoom out a little. See if that works. There we go. So, and you can see that. Yeah, so, kind of, I hope. So up here is just here is where Łódź is. And this is where the 9th Army was coming up. And also, yet again, to draw some of the Russian, from what I've been reading, draw some of the Russian forces away as they were preparing to do the winter battle here. This is the Battle of Bolimov, that first mass gas attack that happened, 2-3 weeks ago? And they're still, but the Russians are falling back, but they're still, slowing them down. I mean, it's not like they're just melting away. Here's the 8th Army, which attacks from what I know, splits up in 2 directions. And on the 7th of February, it's this left bit that attacks the Russian 10th. And they were reinforced by some divisions from the Western Front. And this 10th Army was also a newly formed army, I do believe, that was from the Western Front. But they weren't like crack. There's a lot of recruits and, whatever. It was a big a hodgepodge of quality from what I been known. However, these guys from what I've been reading, made a even during the storm on the first day. Well, during the week, this was last week, and so now it would be the full week. Pushed the Russians back, 6 hexes worth in der Weltkrieg terms, so about 120 kilometers. And on the following day, so during that week, but on the 8th of February, the 10th Army also attacked on this side. And they basically the Russian army just collapsed from what I've been reading, and then you had this 20th Corps, and they got stuck in the Augusto forest. And please, if you want to read an awesome narrative, just even go to the Wikipedia entry and read that. It is awesome to read up about General Bulgakov and what it gets really into the minutia. It's awesome to read about, they had a machine gun nest here, and they ran across the canal, the little canal across. It's just really neat to read up, and it's like, oh gosh, there's more and more stuff I just got to find out about. Anyways, they resisted. He supposedly had, I think, more than twice the amount of divisions that a normal corps would have, Russian corps had. And he said, screw this, I'm going to try and attempt a breakout, which is awesome because we have breakouts, as you know, in der Weltkrieg, when you get encircled. So I thought that was kind of neat. While I was reading it, I was thinking about it that way. That stalled a lot of the forces here, which allowed the remainder of the, I think 3 corps worth or whatever, to regroup near Grodno. And I can't remember maybe it was the Russian 12th or somewhere around here. They were able to counterattack and stop the Germans, and that was the end of that and that was it for that. However, there was no more Russians in East Prussia from what I've been reading. And when you get towards the Great Retreat, when that starts, and even when I was looking, now I can start seeing in context when I was looking at the map with Ken X or Ken 10, there's such a weak force up here with the Russians. There's barely anything, and also with the Germans. And it's all down here. Oh, it's just massed. I can see why. There was nothing left there. So that's kind of interesting. The other thing I found, which I didn't know from reading up about this, is that the Germans were already starting to help out the Austrians. So in this area here, there is some German troops already. So it's not when I thought, anyways, when the Great Retreat started, that's when the Germans said, "Hey, let's we'll start helping out the Austrians a lot more." No, I think this probably enhanced that. So okay, let's get to the trivia question, which will be super ultra easy. 10 points. How's that for the first? Remember, you only get one. You get 1 point even for guessing. Goodness gracious, that's not hard. And like I said, this is unbelievably easy. I feel terrible for even. I was like, come on. Okay, so here's the first. I'll bring the camera thing down, and then we'll go off to watch Calandale, and then my overview of the map 6-4. I forgot to put on the white thing for my couch. Oh, such is life. How's that? All right, try that. There we go. That should do it. Okay. I'll start the trivia. Where's my trivia thing? And then we'll go off to Calandale, and then, like I said, hopefully we'll and then we'll do the map 6-4. And like I also, I think I was originally mentioning in the live stream that I wanted to do, what was it? Oh yeah, play the over-the-top game at the World War I, at the War Museum in Ottawa, like the online thing. But I was like, well, wait a minute, I'll wait for my 1-year birthday thing on March 25th, the Saturday thing. I mean, we might as well just do not all fun and games, but I'm trying to also think about a lot of stuff. I'd like to talk, obviously, about. Yeah, let's talk about this quickly first for a bit, because it is related to this. So what I like to do for the 1-year party, obviously, it's gonna be World War I related, game related, and Der Weltkrieg related. For the Saturday one, the Wednesday one, I think I'm gonna call it an after party or something, and I'm happy that it's after, like, both of my things are before and after the Not J marathon. I was like, oh shoot, I don't want to step on their toes. I was like, screw this, man. I'm doing my 1-year party, at least one of them. And then the other one's like, whatever, that'll be the Wednesday after party thing. I'll just, we'll just chit chat or whatever. But I want to have, I'd like to really have an in-depth discussion about this game system. I'd like to really talk about, have a good long chit chat with you guys about World War I gaming. There's a couple of people I would like to see if they would be willing to come on for the live stream and talk about World War I gaming. There's another person about hopefully helping pronounce some of the words that are on maps and so on and so forth. Anyways, let's get to the trivia. So yeah, those are the kind of the things I'm thinking about. Jesus Christ, 40 minutes in, man. We may have to go more than an hour. I'm just going to keep on going, maybe, because I really want to get to the map 6-4. That's really important to me. Okay, first trivia thing. I can't believe I'm doing this. They're so easy. But like I said, I'm trying to come up with a funky way of not like, just giving it to you. All these notes for 1 week. Good Lord. Okay, here we go. My cousin sometimes was referred to as Nikki. There you go, for 10 points. And remember, you get 1 point for just even guessing. So you would get 11 points if you got the answer right before anybody else. So my cousin, one of my cousins, sometimes is referred to as Nikki. Goodness gracious, people. But I need the full on. I need what the person, like, I'm not gonna, but you're getting something close there. But you got 1 point, Ken X. You got 1 point. Okay, so I'm going to watch the comments and I'll try to pop some in, but we're going to go to Calandale so we don't take on whatever. Okay, so hold your horses here. I've got to get to the other stream here. All right, and I've also got to mute myself to make sure that we don't get that weird echo. And I don't have you there, you little brat. All right. So, oh, there's the other thing I wanted to show for. I'm going to show you this one here. That's the other thing. Hopefully you guys can see this. And no, you can't because I didn't pop it on. There you go. So, yeah, there's the other thing I wanted to do for current events is to show you what's on. Well, this is for Canadian Tubi. I don't know if you'll be able to get it, but I just typed in World War I on Tubi, and this is what popped up. I have no idea what any of these are like. I'll stop at World War II. I don't care about that. But that looks not too bad. A half decent stuff there. You're going to get 1 point as well, William Aarons, but you're wrong for Tsar Nicholas II. Ken X, you were also wrong for Kaiser Wilhelm and Tsar Nicholas called each other Willie and Nicky. Nope. Remember, it's the person saying it, not, in other words, his cousin, not him. You're looking for the person that says his cousin, not the cousin. Like you're not looking for the Willie or the Nicky, is what I'm saying. You're looking for the person that is, that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to have to look at these. Okay, so there we go. You've seen that bit, and now I'm going to go to my YouTube thing. So that way I can go to my live streams. Not that one. I want to go to my I think so. Now, where's my... Did I not do it? No, I want to go to here. Ah, there we go. Okay, guys, here we go.
So we push into April of 16, and the English are trying to move some of their non-English troops, the Canadians, the Australians, New Zealand, whatever, into place for the planned assault on this hex. They would have liked to have launched it this turn. In fact, they may just do it. They can't get all their artillery into place, etc. But counting a big French artillery assault, they've got a slight advantage right now. And with the shifting of forces, it becomes apparent. So I think I'm going to make that attack because otherwise the Germans will reinforce that sector. And that attack, they rolled a big 5, almost knocked them out. They're down to 2 German strength points there, but they don't have to retreat. They've got fortification. They've got the entrenchments there. They did 19 points of damage. This was a weak spot on the line, especially given that it's surrounded by 3 things. It actually was weaker in some of the areas that were not surrounded by 3 things. and it was clearly the place to hit. But hitting it meant the French had to expend, not just for the troops here, though, but because of all these artillery I had. That upped my odds a great deal of actually getting the breakthrough, making it possible. This was about the only place I could get a breakthrough with the Allies here against the Germans. It didn't quite happen. I needed a somewhat better die roll, just a 6 instead of a 5. If I could have gotten more English troops, the additional guns and etc., it would have improved the odds significantly. But once you call attention to a weak spot, you better hit it. You really better hit it. In a vassal game, you probably don't have this situation. But if you were playing live, you start paying a lot of attention to an area. Your opponent starts saying, well, are you assembling for that? Am I going to have to defend that area a little more carefully? So I don't feel like in the board game that you would ever be in this situation where you wouldn't notice that your opponent is kind of looking to a certain location. So you kind of have to make that attack when it hits. The attack's main purpose was to do damage to the British because they have a lot of replacement points, especially the Canadians needed to get reduced. They had some supply points, but they're really not... what am I at here? 30. There should be another British kicking around, I think. Oh, 30, 40, 41. They can retain that for... That's not an issue. So the big issue here was trying to create that. Now, if the Germans don't fill this gap, the English will hit it again. Or if they have to strip something in the line, the English will take an opportunity. But they're not in some kind of real need to make the attack here. Germans opened up another weak spot over here, strengthening this location. This one became a little weaker. And this had been where the Brits were considering attacking anyway. There were only 12 strength points there. They hit it. They hit it hard, 116 points. French supplies, because of their artillery supply and English supplies, are beginning to look a little weak here, as though they can't really continue this offensive. Paying for that kind of attack, especially with it being artillery heavy, is very, very high cost. They had a very good chance of a breakthrough there and rolled really crappy. I think I couldn't have been. Yeah, so they were at -3. They rolled a 4 or something because they ended up with a 1 on the table. But they ended up 1 point away from destroying the Germans again. So it was a good attack with a good chance of some sort of success. But they're not achieving the breakthroughs. They're not achieving the damage that they need to. They're doing additional damage over what the Germans are taking. Attacks seem to always be better on the attritional side in this game, which feels a little funny to me. But when you look at the records, actually, the truth of the matter is those big battles, when you count them all up, quite often the first strike was very high in casualties for the enemy, and quite often the overall results were pretty much even, actually, having to do, and we're talking month-long battles with counterattacks going back and forth. Quite often the actual strike was fairly heavy. So I don't know. I'm not sure it's taking into account everything, like determined resistance after a while or whatever, but it does seem to hit that initial blow correctly. Given the philosophy of the game that you can shift at any point, that you don't have to just keep pouring into the same sector, I'm not sure how else to represent it. Anyway, that's what we got away with there. Everything fairly quiet, except the English shifted their assault again to here. Another fairly good attack. But at this point, the English are really just wasting supplies. And they're low enough that they've got to stop. They're down under 10 supplies at this point. This one probably couldn't have broken through very easily, and they rolled poorly enough that it didn't. They actually got a bad mix where the Germans did almost as much damage as they did. It's weakening the German line. It has the Germans kind of scrambling in their head, but they're not spending a lot of supplies. So eventually they're going to have to launch an offensive too. as long as you're getting attacked in weak points, you don't have enough units to throw supplies in. So you take a lot of casualties, but you don't get rid of the thing that you need to get rid of in order to avoid losing the game. And the front's quieted down again. Out of supplies with the English and French. You know, it just doesn't feel like one side of this works very well. The troop strengths are being maintained. The armies are really filled up on the front in a way that, say, La Grande Guerre doesn't manage. But the length of the offensives is usually maybe 2 weeks at the longest that I've seen so far. This does not reflect what I expect at all historically. The supplies don't last long enough to continue an offensive. The willpower doesn't last long enough. Now, I don't know, maybe it would make more sense to continue these offensives beyond that. But to tell you the truth, the impetus for making these offensives, in my game at least, has been I need to spend supply. And as your supply gets low and you don't know where your opponent's at, if you start making out of supply attacks, first of all, they're not going to succeed unless your opponent's out of supply. And secondly, if your opponent's not out of supply and he either makes an attack that you can't supply, or even weirder, you start making attacks without supply, he knows you're weak. And he can start picking your weaker points and just blasting them away in a manner that would cause the front to collapse. So as far as I'm concerned, you have to halt these offensives at this early date. And it doesn't feel accurate. Now, the offensives in La Grande Guerre tend to grind down the armies to such a point. The Russian army seems about right in that game, but the French and even most especially the German army never really recovers to the point where you even can feel like you can really make an offensive, but you have to. It's an odd. Both games, I think, fail to actually capture the feel of the era properly. I'm not sure. We'll see. Well, the Germans have too much supply, so they launched a big 3-hex attack, but not a lot of supply got burned in it, honestly. They're going to have to do another attack, at least one more, by the end of this month. They did some damage, but took more themselves. And this is really an unpleasant situation to get into, where you have a lot of supplies, the enemy's not reacting, isn't attacking in any sense. So you're not going to burn any. And you don't have a good grasp, a good place to hit. This was the most attractive location. They knew they couldn't break through it, not with the -2. They knew they were going to take losses with the +2 coming against them, and it ended up being pretty unpleasant for them. And basically, the current effect of that attack that that was made against the French here, a lot more troops thrown into this salient, make it harder to cut in. The way that was managed was the French lost another hex in Paris. The Brits took over another hex over, for the most part, I think there's one French unit in there. But just, shifting that British line. There's more British troops in the line now, so I can afford that. And getting an extra stack, really shifting it all the way down the line. It trickled down a little bit. Certainly it didn't all make it completely down there, but we got a much, much more powerful defense in that area. And the Brits can hold their line. I don't view the Allies as having supplies in the near future. So they're kind of saying, well, we don't really need to have the offensive capability that, say, the Brits or the Brits and French combined had in this salient. It's more important to prevent the Germans from being able to get a breakthrough. The Germans are going to have to make another attack. Best location for a German blow was here. I'm still worried that I'm going to be over. I don't want to keep recalculating each time. I don't want to do another assault this round. But anyway, it went poorly for the Germans. And then the French kind of evened up their lines more. No biggie there. And, well, we'll move into that next month. I I don't know. I guess I had to load this one up. I hate putting so many videos out, but it's close to long enough. All right, so that's the end of April, and we slide into May. I got all kind of bookkeeping type crap to do in between months.
All right, so yeah, this is going to be about the overview of Map 6-4, the Italian Front, 1915-1918 for der Weltkrieg, as well as I wanted to try out a couple of things, which is one, record this video before actually doing the live stream, and then just play it just like I would do the Calandale playthrough during the live stream. So that way I can follow any comments. That'll be a nice thing to do, because I am so far away from being able to monitor the comments. And secondly, I'm also going to break this up and try to make like a playlist, just like I do with Calandale and when I was doing the Dave Schroeder tutorials. So that way I can stop here, just show a little bit, and then prepare later because I want to start talking about the specifics of the terrain features on the map and how it affects movement, combat. Are you allowed to entrench in all forms of terrain? How does it affect line of supply, lines of communication? What about the specialized units? How do they deal with these interesting terrain features? Those type of things is what I would like to do in a second bit. So that way, if I can just do this part now, hit stop, do some other stuff, and just have a playlist, I think that'll be, like I said, I'm also trying to learn about pacing and everything for the weekly live streams. Anyways, so what do I know about the map, Map 6-4? Map 6-4, as far as I know, is it's the only map that comes in this module, the Italian Front 1915-1918 module. There's 5 separate scenarios that you can play. You can also link them together, and then you can also, you can get into the grand campaign. In other words, you have lots of options. But this is it. And like with most of the big maps for der Weltkrieg, it's 34 by 22. And each hex is 20 kilometers wide. What else can I say about them? I think that's it. But you will, and I'll talk about how they link up in this video, and then I'll stop it here. But you'll notice that you've got this little bit here, and you can cut it out and pop it down over here, and I'll show it to you on the grand campaign map, the shrunken, or the whole thing where I have it all up at the 75% scale. But I'm going to go down onto my horrible looking floor there, and you can see the maps linked up, or how the Italian Front links up with the other maps. It's at 80%. I haven't put that one up on the wall yet, but anyways, we'll take a look, and so that way you can see how it links up, and then we'll go to the one on the wall. But I didn't want to start moving the 80% Italian map, because it's kind of like underneath and on top kind of thing, as you can see here. So that's where it gets underneath map 5-4, which is underneath map 5-3. And if I remember correctly, map 5-4, you get that map, in the grand campaign map module. Map 5-3, which is essentially the original, that's the Western Front, the Schlieffenplan map. And then over here is map 6-5, the Serbia Defiant map, which comes in the East Front map module. Sorry. So I'm going to move this aside, because you're going to see. There we go. So now we can move it aside. So that part would go down over here. And the other reason why I'm going to move this aside is because when you get with the grand campaign thing, you see these other little cutouts, and that's to kind of fill in some blanks. And this bit here, you would also cut out to fill in the blank over here. You'll see in a minute. We'll go to the all the linked maps that I have on the wall that I've been using for the live streams. And then you can see what I mean by the cutouts there. And then I'm going to hit stop and then go on from there. All right, hold on. Actually, I can hit pause. So there we are again. There's the map and how it links up. As you can see, it's going up towards here. But then there's the cutout, which I did. I cut it out and taped it in. So that way, you know, I mean, it's I haven't defaced the real map. And then there's that other cutout. So that's from the Italian map, the map 6.4 that comes with the module. And then that little chunk, I can't remember what the name is, but that little bit comes with map 5.4 up there. That comes with the Grand Campaign module. Okay, so that's it. So the next part of this little mini playlist will hopefully be about discussing the different terrain features that are on this map and how it affects movement. Well, yeah, we'll go movement, combat, any special considerations such as entrenchment, lines of supply, lines of communication, and specialized units. All right. All right, part 2. I hope the lighting's not too bad. I'm filming in the afternoon and there's an amazing amount of sunlight coming in the living room window. So I did turn on the light for the mobile phone. Hopefully that'll get rid of some of the shadow. I don't know. I did a trial run of this part 2 thing, and I started it was getting really, really long due to the fact that I found I was including too much of the specialized units, and also starting to talk a lot about the Italian front, which is a good thing, because obviously we're going to be going on to talking about Caporetto later on when I do the playthrough and everything. But then I went, you know what? It's going to cut in too much into the hour-long live stream, and secondly, this will allow me to go over the rules yet again when we actually do Caporetto. So that's a bonus. So as you can see, there's a lot of different terrain compared to if anybody's been following along with the mini game and whatnot in the Eastern Front. You know, there's the Alpine. So let's go over and take a look at what they actually look like there, so you can see. So there's some new stuff. This certainly isn't the Eastern Front. Tannenberg, that's for sure. You've got, like, I mean, up there, I mean, I'm used to seeing the clear, the broken, the woods, the rough, the swamp, suburban, and the urban, and that's it. I have not seen wooded rough yet. Well, down towards Galicia, I certainly have, and mountain there. And then the Alpine, which I believe is the most restrictive terrain possible. I'll go over a few things that I found. I guess I could have used Control F or whatever in the PDF to find all instances of like mountain units or Alpine or mountain terrain and so on and so forth, but I didn't. So we'll see how it goes. I'm also going to just zip over quickly a few of the place names that I know that seem to be important. I'm only up to at the moment the 5th battle of the Isonzo, so I've got a long way to go before I get to Caporetto, but I'm getting there. So I do know that the Italians are really interested in trying to get this area here, Trieste, Fiume, I guess. And yet again, I need to find out why, or was there an amphibious, like a naval component to all this? I have no clue. And here's the Isonzo River, this tiny little area. It's just amazing to think that 12 battles of the Isonzo. I mean, I haven't read, but I mean, you know, geez, man. I have to find out where Gorizia is. That town keeps popping up. I keep hearing about that town. Also, here's the Piave River, which is, I think, the river that the Italians end up getting pushed back all the way from there in Caporetto. So that's pretty amazing. And I think the only reason why it stopped was just due to the fact that supply lines, were difficult and so on and so forth. And we'll get into that later in a little bit when I start discussing the combat effects and the movement effects due to this unbelievably restrictive terrain, which is the Alpine area. Yep, and as you can see, there's not a heck of a lot of, like, for the Germans to go and help out the Austrians. It's those rail lines, essentially. Yeah. Okay, so here, I'll go and grab my notes as well as take a look at the terrain effects. And you can start seeing why things start becoming unbelievably restrictive. So here, I'll put it up towards the color bit so we can see. So you can see both. Yeah, that's good there. So we got the mountain is 6 movement points to cross a hex side. Oh my goodness. And the combat effects is halved attacker strength and +3 to the die roll for the defender. Counterattack Alpine is prohibited, so you can't even cross. And have attacker strength and +3 for the die roll again. And then there's the Wooded Rough, which is 4 movement points, -4 die roll for the combat effects, and +2 die roll for the counterattack. So there you go. That's but you're going to start seeing when these specialized units, they call them the mountain units here, and I guess there's the Alpini and whatnot. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to just talk about, like I said, we'll get into that when we go towards Caporetto or whatever. But I will go over my notes that I found out now, and we'll take a look from there. And then you start seeing why things were extremely slow moving, and yeah, this certainly isn't like the speed and seeing cavalry zipping on all over the place. So that's for sure. Oh, I did want to mention this, which I found really fitting, or it was nice to see that. Last week in last week's live stream, Charles Latour had mentioned, is there any difference between the first and second edition rules or whatever? Like what are the differences, and what about the counters, and so on and so forth? And I didn't know. And I'm still trying to go and look up some stuff, but this popped up, so I'm popping this in right now because it is specific to that. It says right here in section 3.3, and this is in the Italian front module. All 1-4 Austro-Hungarian mountain brigades in previously published games should be replaced by 2-4 brigades provided with this game. These units remain as 1-4, maximum strength 1 unit, until moved onto map 6-4, at which time a strength point is added to them, also giving them a maximum strength point total of 2. If they are moved off map 6-4, they revert back to their previous maximum strength point total of 1. All right. And what other notes did I put in here? Oh, yeah. The trenches, 22.2. Units cannot construct trenches in hexes where either mountain or marsh is the only terrain between their hex and hexes occupied by enemy units. And mountain, I mean, obviously is alpine, but you can't build a trench in alpine anyway, so don't worry about it. Here we go. Neither trenches or devastation markers can exist in mountain or marsh hex sides and would not be included in the movement point costs or crossing such hex sides. Well, I didn't see alpine there, but I know for a fact you're not allowed to pop them in there. I mean, come on. Supply 19.7. Supply line may not be traced into a hex that is occupied by an enemy unit or is in an enemy zone of control and not occupied by a friendly ground combat unit. A supply line may not be traced across sea, lake, or alpine hex sides. So there's another wrinkle. Supply 19.8. The length of a supply line is calculated in terms of the movement points it would take to move along the supply line by normal movement. In other words, not counting the enemy zone of control costs. From the hex occupied by the unit to that occupied by the HQ supplying them. Or potentially supplying them. So that comes into effect yet again with this incredibly restrictive movement point costs, going through the mountain regions. Yeah, you're going to have to keep your headquarters extremely close to your attacking units. It's just the way it is. Retreat 14.6. Units cannot retreat normally into hexes they could not move into, using the 1 hex per turn minimum move. Retreating into such a hex is the absolute last option for cavalry and infantry type units, and mountain and alpine units, those special units, those are, assault as well. They're infantry type units, so they're considered there.
and all other units are eliminated if forced to do so. So yet again, that's another thing to consider, with this restrictive terrain. If you have to retreat, you could be eliminated, or, like a headquarters or what have you. You got to be careful. Zones of control, 10.6. Zones of control do not extend across sea or alpine hex sides or into hexes in neutral countries. And here's another one. Winter weather, 34.5. On map 6.4, the Italian front, winter effects don't end until the completion of the 7th turn of April. In addition to this effect, units attacking into clear, broken, woods, or rough terrain on map 6.4 have their attack strength reduced by 1/4, round fractions up during winter weather turns. And then mountain units, I wanted to, it's important. 32.1, mountain units pay 1 less movement point to cross wooded rough and movement and mountain terrain hex sides than called for by the terrain effects chart. And 32.2, mountain units get the -1 movement point benefit of a single track rail line if the cost of crossing the hex side is normally 3 or more. Did I do a tiny bit more? Yes, I did. And 32.3. Mountain units may make the 1 hex side per turn minimum move allowed by rule 610. I'm not going to get into that. So long as they would not pay more than 6 movement points in moving from enemy zone of control to enemy zone of control. The 6 movement point cost in this case does not include the additional cost of entering or leaving an enemy zone of control. So there you have it. This is a slow moving map, I guess is the way to look at it. I don't know any other way to look at it. It'll be interesting to see when we start playing the Caporetto game, but hopefully this was a good overview. Okay, that's it.
All right, guys, so I'm going to show you a few more things. Hopefully that was good. That's my first real official whatever for Der Weltkrieg, I guess, if you want to call it that. And I'm going to keep on trying to do one. Makes sense to me. So this is, I'm going to pop on my, I'm going to put on this one here. This is the one I wanted to show you there, Charles. Let's see if I can see what you guys can see. You can't see anything until I put it on there. Hold on. So, can you see this one? I hope. Am I not presenting? I don't think I am. Darn it. Hold on. Present. Share my screen. So this is the book, Charles, that Charles Latour that I was thinking. I have picked up. So this one here. So that's coming, and hopefully that'll help us out with, learning more about what the heck was going on. And you don't see a screen yet? Do you see it now? I hope. Oh, goody. Thank you. Maybe it's a bit of a lag. So yeah, that's the book there that it seems to have some good reviews. So I'll get that. And I also want to show you this before I split, or we all leave or whatever. Hold on here. I'll go to. I wanted to show you the. If I still have them here. Oh please. Oh, there we are. Wesley Livesay. So I'm going to show you this guy. And tell me if you can or not. Is it freaking out all the time? Just want to make sure. Come on, you little brat. And you can see it. Good. So this guy I found out about through the Nebula cast that I was saying that's for real-time history. They do their podcasts. And they interviewed this guy, Wesley Livesay, which I think is kind of cool, his last name for what he's doing. And he was doing this like independently, doing his own weekly Great War podcasts, which you can get on Audible. And I think you've got a bunch of them available here. They're really good. I highly recommend listening to them. He's also doing a World War II one. I don't know if they're finished. I'm sorry to say, but I'm not that interested at the moment. I'm stuck in World War I, and I'm going to be staying there for a very long time, I think. Yes, I highly recommend this stuff here. What else did I want to talk? Oh yeah, let's go to the Masurian Winter Battle thing there. I'll show you this one, and then it's doing this thing again. Why does it keep doing that? Stop doing that, you silly little bugger. Oh, irritating. Where are you, Masurian? There you are. There. So that's the Masurian game that I was mentioning that's specific for the second battle of the Masurian Lakes, if you wanted to take a look. And it uses, like I said, the modified fire and movement system, which was originally done for World War II, for their World War II thing. I've played the Tannenberg game, which is the exact same system. It's a different scale, but it's lovely. And there's the Augusto Forest, and I think that's it. I'll pop me back onto here. I'll get rid of all that. You guys see me now. I'll try to see if there's anything else to mention, but I don't really think so. Hopefully, you guys had this one went well-ish. I did learn. We're not actually using my webcam now. During the map overview for the Italian front, my camcorder battery went. I'm like, you little. I thought it was actually my USB extender cable. It's been rather loose lately, so I don't know what's going on with that thing. I'll quickly check my notes, but I don't think there's that much to discuss. Like I said, I'll try to get the 80% map up, so that way we can put on the fronts and leave them on, which will be great. I can just start moving them around a little bit more. I want to learn more. See, you get that weird autofocus thing? Oh, you little, just really irritating. I want to find out more about what's going on with the Carpathians. Yet again, I'll try to get some more info on what's been going on in Africa. What else was there? There was a few other things I wanted to. Oh yeah, and we'll try to get a list for all the World War I games that are currently available from game publishers. So we're not going to go into what you can get on, Geek Market and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into that. And we'll go from there. And yet again, put your thinking cap on, for Pete's sakes, for the 1-year party, which will be on 35 days away, March 25th. And then the after party, which will be the Wednesday, the 46 days thing. And like I said, I'm so glad that when I found out last week that they were doing, Not Jay, were doing their April 1st marathon thing, I went, oh no, I don't want to step on their toes. I felt so bad, but I was like, come on, man, I want to do it. And I was just so lucky that it's Mark. Yeah, I'm not gonna step on their toe. Let's be honest, I'm ultrascopic. I'm like super duper ultra tiny. Meandering Mike, yes, Zoe Dufour, there you are. That's my daughter, who I mention often, the craft person extraordinaire. Yeah, a super amazing human being. That's all I got to say. And as Zoe knows about you, Meandering Mike, and she knows about Charles Latora and so on and so forth. So this is all cool. Oh, and guess what, Zoe? You'll get to see a T-shirt that I made. Well, I didn't make specifically for you. Okay, put it this way: the T-shirts that myself and you're gonna get, or whoever, are basically would have ended up going to the land of or the Isle of Screwed Up Toys from that, the Rudolph animated show. I'll show you your T-shirt. We'll end it there because you'll see it's got a funky band on it, but I'm learning how to do them. Like I'm getting really good at these shirts. Meandering Mike, I have done your shirt. It's the red iron oxide one. If you don't like it, that color, let me know. I've got a bunch of different colors now. Like, as you know, I can now do white. So we're not stuck We're not stuck just to black anymore. And I learned that if you can get a die cutting machine, you can make, I don't have to have that, with the heart and stuff like that. I can do so on and so forth. So let me show you, Zoe, your t-shirt. I think you take a medium, and I hope you like it because you're going to have it. Oh, I'm so excited. Hold on. So that'll be that. Oh yeah, let me end I'll put the end segment on for YouTube. That's how I wanted to end it. And like I said, I'm allowed to use that song. So hopefully hopefully you'll like this one, Zoe. It's a medium blue, and if you like it, it's yours. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, I'll put the end segments on, and I got it. Well, I think as I've told you, a few of you people, I'm on holiday mode. I've got 11 more days off, I think, if I did the calculations right. I want a big soak with my game. I haven't touched that in ages. However, I also do know I've got to start getting ready again for the live stream for next week. It's a lot of work. I mean, you saw how many freaking notes I do, but it's all, I'd rather have more material than not enough. And secondly, this is a beautiful, like I said, feedback loop. You guys are motivating me to do what I want to do anyways, which is learn more about World War I. So it's rather than me sitting around doing nothing or, being procrastinating or what have you. It's like, geez, I got to get going. Like I got to start, I stick to a schedule and a timetable. That's pretty darn good. So that's it, I think. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say, really. That's it. I hope you guys have a great time. I'm going to shut down and lose my flipping mind, I think, because, well, it's going to take me a while to kind of figure out, oh, my God, I can just go and play the game or do whatever. But I also want to start, and there's the postcard jam as well. Ypres jumping. I've got that thing. And yet again, it's going to be World War I related. I can't get that out of my system at the moment. I don't know when that's going to go. And if I'm doing these live streams week to week history wise, well, I've got another 30-something years to go. So sounds good to me. Okay, I hope you guys have a fantastic Saturday. Great doing whatever you're doing, gaming and the whole 9 yards. And I know that some of you are going to be up on the, why do I keep forgetting the name? The War Room. Yes, please, Meandering Mike. No. I'm like Sunday. I'm doing. That's right. I forgot. So I've got still going to be doing the opening moves for Sunday with Spence and Gable tomorrow for the Tannenberg game. Oh, for sure, Meandering Mike. And yet again, I know that I send you a lot of whatever. Before sending a restraining order on me or whatever, all you have to do is just say, or Chris, calm down with the effing daily whatevers. Yeah, it's just the way I am. I will stop if you tell me to stop. If you don't, I'll just keep going is what happens. Yeah, for sure. Pick a date. I'll always work around your schedule on Sunday. That's why I look at it. I'm pretty whatever. So, and I know you're extremely busy with all your stuff as well. So, yeah, don't ever feel whatever. Okay, that's it. Yeah. I suppose we got a weird day, weird temperature day today. It was like -16 when I got up, and it's supposed to get up to like -2 or something. So see what happens. Okay, I hope you guys have a fantastic time. And 1 p.m. my time, 4 p.m. yours. Yep, done. I'll be there, Meandering Mike. And thank you guys again, and thank you for everybody else later on that's going to be viewing. And next week, hopefully, we'll continue finding out more about World War I and gaming and so on and so forth. Okay, bye guys. See ya.